During the party, my girlfriend whispered something in my ear and then walked away to dance. I was shocked by what she said and followed her, but she didn't know I was behind her. Then I saw her dancing with her ex. My heart sank. I left the party and walked away. Later, she came there crying, searching for me where I was standing. I'm 26, work in graphic design, and until that night, I thought I had everything figured out. My girlfriend Natalie and I had been together for 2 years. We met at a coffee shop where she spilled her latte on my laptop bag, apologized profusely, and insisted on buying me dinner to make up for it. That dinner turned into breakfast the next morning, and we'd been inseparable ever since. Or so I thought. Natalie was the kind of person who lit up every room she entered. She had this infectious laugh that made strangers smile, and she never met anyone she couldn't charm within 5 minutes. I loved that about her, even when it made me a little insecure. She was outgoing and spontaneous while I was more reserved, the type who preferred quiet nights at home over crowded parties. But she balanced me out, pulled me out of my shell, made me feel like I could be more than the introverted designer who lived behind a computer screen. The party that night was hosted by her best friend Lauren at some warehouse-turned-event space downtown. Natalie had been excited about it all week, trying on different outfits, asking my opinion on which shoes matched better. I wasn't particularly thrilled about going, but seeing her happy made it worth it. "You're going to have fun," she'd promised me in the car on the way there, squeezing my hand. "Just try to relax and enjoy yourself." The place was packed when we arrived, music pounding through speakers so loud I could feel it in my chest. Colored lights swept across the crowd, and everywhere I looked, people were laughing, drinking, dancing. Natalie immediately pulled me toward the bar, ordering us both drinks before disappearing into the crowd to find Lauren. I stood there nursing my beer, watching her work the room like she was born for it. About an hour in, things were actually going okay. I'd found a group of Lauren's boyfriend's friends who were surprisingly easy to talk to, and I was starting to think maybe Natalie had been right about loosening up. Then she found me in the crowd, her face flushed from dancing, eyes bright. She leaned in close, her breath warm against my ear over the music. "I need to tell you something." "What?" I shouted back. She pulled me away from the group, into a slightly quieter corner near the bathrooms. Her expression had shifted, something nervous flickering across her features. "What's wrong?" I asked, feeling my stomach tighten. She bit her lip, then leaned in again. "Cole's here." Cole? Her ex-boyfriend. The one she dated for 3 years before me. The one she'd told me had moved to Seattle for work. The one she swore she had zero contact with anymore. "Okay," I said slowly, trying to keep my voice steady. "That's weird. Did Lauren invite him?" "I don't know. Maybe." She looked away, fidgeting with her bracelet. "I just wanted you to know in case you saw him." I didn't want it to be awkward. Before I could respond, she kissed my cheek quickly. "I'm going back to dance with Lauren. Come find me in a bit." And then she was gone, disappearing back into the crowd before I could process what had just happened. I stood there for a moment, my beer suddenly tasting sour. Something about the whole interaction felt off. Why would she need to tell me her ex was here unless there was a reason it mattered? And why did she seem so nervous about it? I pushed through the crowd, following the direction she'd gone. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I just wanted to join her and everything would be fine. But when I finally spotted her through the mass of dancing bodies, my heart dropped into my stomach. She was dancing with someone. A tall guy with dark hair styled just so, wearing the kind of expensive casual clothes that screamed tech money. His hands were on her waist. Her arms were draped over his shoulders. They were moving together in a way that was far too familiar, far too comfortable for two people who supposedly hadn't seen each other in years. That had to be Cole. I stood frozen, maybe 10 feet away, hidden behind a group of people. I watched as Natalie threw her head back laughing at something he said. Watched as he leaned in close to speak in her ear, the same way she'd done with me just minutes before. Watched as her hand came up to touch his chest, lingering there just a second too long. My chest felt tight. My hands were shaking. I couldn't move, couldn't look away, couldn't make sense of what I was seeing. Then Cole said something else, and Natalie's expression changed. She looked around nervously, scanning the crowd. Looking for me. I didn't wait to be spotted. I turned and pushed my way back through the crowd, heading for the exit. People called out as I bumped past them, but I couldn't hear anything over the roaring in my ears. The cool night air hit my face like a slap when I burst through the doors. I kept walking, No destination in mind. Just needing to move. Needing to put distance between myself and whatever the hell I'd just witnessed. I ended up at a small park about 3 blocks away, sitting on a bench beneath a streetlight. My phone buzzed in my pocket, but I ignored it. Then it buzzed again. And again. Finally, I pulled it out. 14 missed calls from Natalie. 23 text messages. Where did you go? Are you okay? I can't find you. Please answer me. I'm getting worried. I turned the phone over in my hands, staring at the dark screen. What was I supposed to say? That I'd seen her with her ex? That I'd watched them dance like I didn't exist? That she'd literally told me he was there and then immediately went to be with him? Footsteps approached rapidly from behind. I didn't turn around. There you are. Natalie's voice was breathless, panicked. I've been looking everywhere for you. Why didn't you answer your phone? I still didn't turn around. She came around the bench, and I could see her face was streaked with tears, mascara running. She looked genuinely distressed. What happened? Why did you leave? She crouched down in front of me, trying to catch my eye. Talk to me, please. I saw you, I said quietly. She blinked. Saw me what? Dancing with Cole. Her face went pale in the streetlight. Oh. I looked at her fully now. That's all you have to say? Oh, it wasn't what it looked like. I laughed, a bitter sound. Do you know how cliché that is? It wasn't what it looked like. Come on, Natalie. Give me more credit than that. We were just dancing. Her voice rose defensively. He came over to say hi, and Lauren was right there, and the music was good, and your hands were all over him. That's not. She stopped, closed her eyes. I wasn't thinking. I'm sorry. It was just muscle memory or something. We used to dance together all the time, and... Stop. I stood up, and she stumbled back a step. Just stop. You told me he moved away. You said you didn't have contact with him. I don't. Then why is he at your best friend's party? Why did you look so nervous when you told me he was there? Why did you immediately go find him after telling me? I didn't go find him. I went back to Lauren, and he was just there. You looked around for me. I said, the realization hitting me. When you were dancing with him, you were checking to make sure I wasn't watching. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Tears spilled over again. I was looking for you because I wanted to introduce you. Bullshit. It's true. Then why did you look guilty? Why did you look nervous? I stepped closer to her. What's really going on, Natalie? She wrapped her arms around herself, looking away. Nothing is going on. Are you still in love with him? What? No. She looked genuinely shocked. No, absolutely not. Then why? Because I felt guilty. The words burst out of her. Okay. I felt guilty because I knew seeing him would be weird, and I knew you'd be uncomfortable, and I wanted to prove to myself that it didn't matter, that I could see him and it would be nothing, that I'm completely over him. By dancing with him. I know it was stupid. She was crying harder now. I know, okay? I wasn't thinking. It was just for a minute, and I didn't think about how it would look, and... Did you know he was going to be there? The question hung in the air between us. Answer me, I said when she stayed silent. Lauren mentioned he might show up, she whispered. My stomach dropped. And you didn't tell me. I didn't think he actually would. I thought she was just saying that. But you knew there was a possibility. Yes. I sat back down on the bench, suddenly exhausted. So you lied to me. By omission, but still. I didn't want you to worry for no reason. And now I'm worried for a very good reason. She sat down next to me, keeping a small distance between us. I'm sorry. I really am. It was wrong, and I should have told you, and I definitely shouldn't have danced with him. But I swear to you, there is nothing going on between us. I love you. Only you. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her so badly. But something still felt wrong, like pieces of a puzzle that didn't quite fit together. How long has he been back in town? I asked. She hesitated just a fraction too long. A few weeks. A few weeks. I nodded slowly. And you didn't think to mention that? I only found out recently. How? What? How did you find out? If you don't have contact with him, how did you know he was back? Another hesitation. Lauren told me. When? Jesus, what is this, an interrogation? When did Lauren tell you? I kept my voice level. She sighed. Last month. She ran into him at some coffee place. Last month. She'd known for over a month that her ex was back in town and hadn't said a word to me. Have you seen him before tonight? I asked. No. Have you talked to him? No. Texted? Social media? No, none of that. She turned to face me fully. I haven't had any contact with him. I promise you. I wanted to believe her. But trust is a funny thing. Once it cracks, you start to see fractures everywhere, even in places that might be solid. I need some space, I said, standing up again. What does that mean? It means I need time to think, to figure out how I feel about all of this. Please don't do this. She grabbed my arm. Please don't let one stupid mistake ruin what we have. I gently removed her hand. One stupid mistake that you planned for. You knew he might be there. You didn't tell me. You danced with him anyway, and you only told me he was there after you'd already decided to. That's not one mistake, Natalie. That's a series of choices. She was sobbing now, full body shaking. I love you. Please. I can't lose you over this. Then you should have thought about that before. I started walking. She called after me, but I didn't stop. I couldn't. If I stopped, if I looked back at her crying, I'd crumble. And I needed to not crumble right now. I needed to be clear-headed and figure out what I actually wanted. When I got home, I found a text from Lauren. Hey, I think there's something you should know. Can we talk? I stared at the message for a long time before finally typing back. Tomorrow. Coffee. Yes. 10 a.m. at Brew Haven. See you there. I barely slept that night. I kept replaying the scene over and over. Natalie's hands on Cole's chest. The way they moved together. The guilty look on her face when she was checking the crowd. But I also remembered 2 years of good moments. Late nights talking until sunrise. The way she'd surprise me with my favorite takeout when I was stressed about a deadline. How she'd taught me to be more confident, more willing to take risks. Had that all been real? Or had I just been convenient while she got over someone else? At 9:55 the next morning, I walked into Brew Haven. Lauren was already there, 2 coffees on the table in front of her. She looked tired, worried. Thanks for meeting me, she said as I sat down. What do you need to tell me? She took a breath. Cole didn't just randomly show up last night. I didn't invite him. Natalie did. The world tilted slightly. What? She asked me a week ago if it would be okay if she invited him. Said she wanted to prove to herself that she was over him, that seeing him would be no big deal. I told her it was a terrible idea, that she should talk to you first, but she insisted, said it would be fine, that you'd never even have to know he was there. But she told me he was there, because he came up to her right away. She panicked. Lauren leaned forward. Look, I've been her best friend since college. I know her better than anyone. And I think she's been confused lately. About what? About Cole. About you. About what she wants. Lauren picked at her coffee cup. When they broke up, it was messy. He chose his career over her, moved to Seattle without really discussing it with her. She was devastated. Took her almost a year to start dating again. Then she met you, and you were exactly what she needed. Stable, kind, supportive. Everything Cole wasn't. But Cole got transferred back here. And seeing him again stirred up old feelings. Not love, necessarily, but unfinished business. Wondering what if. She met my eyes. I don't think she's cheating on you. I really don't. But I think she's been struggling with the fact that she still has feelings about him, even if they're not romantic. I sat back in my chair. So what do I do with that information? That's up to you. I just thought you deserved to know the truth. She's my best friend, but what she did wasn't fair to you. I drove around for hours after that conversation, no destination in mind. My phone kept buzzing with messages from Natalie, but I couldn't bring myself to read them yet. Finally, around 3 p.m., I went to her apartment. I used my key to let myself in and found her curled up on the couch, looking like she hadn't slept either. She sat up when she saw me. You came. Lauren told me you invited him. Her face crumpled. I was going to tell you. When? After you decided if you still had feelings for him? It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? I stayed standing, keeping the coffee table between us. Explain it to me, Natalie. Make me understand why you would invite your ex to a party, not tell your boyfriend, and then dance with him. I wanted closure. Her voice was barely above a whisper. I needed to see him and feel nothing. To prove to myself that I chose right. That we're right. You needed to prove that to yourself. I nodded slowly. Did you? Did you feel nothing? She looked down at her hands. I felt complicated things. That's what I thought. But not what you think. She stood up, coming around the coffee table. I don't love him. I don't want to be with him. But seeing him made me realize that I never really got closure when we ended. He just left, and I had to pick up the pieces, and there were all these things I never got to say to him. And did you say them last night? No. We just danced and made small talk. But I realized that I need to. I need to tell him how much he hurt me, how much damage he did. I need to close that chapter properly, so I can fully commit to us. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe that this was just about closure, about healing old wounds. But the trust was fractured, and I didn't know if it could be repaired. I need you to be honest with me, I said. If I hadn't seen you dancing with him, would you have told me any of this? Would you have told me you invited him, that you felt complicated things? She was quiet for a long moment. I don't know. Probably not. At least she was being honest now. I think we need to take a break, I said. No, please. I'm not saying it's over. But I need space to figure out if I can trust you again. And you need space to figure out what you actually want. I want you. Maybe. But you also want something from him, even if it's just closure. And I can't be in a relationship with someone who's emotionally invested somewhere else, even if that investment is just in ending things properly. She was crying again, but softer this time, resigned. How long? I don't know. A few weeks. Maybe a month. And then we'll talk. Really talk. And figure out if this is something we can come back from. I left my key on the counter and walked out. The next few weeks were strange. I threw myself into work, took on extra projects, stayed busy enough that I didn't have too much time to think. Natalie respected the boundaries I'd set, sending only occasional messages to let me know she was thinking of me, that she was working on herself. Lauren texted me once. She met with Cole, had the conversation she needed to have, told him everything, got her closure. Thought you should know. I didn't respond. 3 weeks into our break, I was having dinner with my brother when he asked, "So what are you going to do?" About what? About Natalie. Do you love her? Yes. Do you think she loves you? I think she does. But I also think she was confused. People make mistakes, he said. The question is whether the relationship is worth the work it'll take to rebuild the trust. I thought about that for a long time. A month and 2 days after the party, I called Natalie. Can we meet? We met at the park where she'd found me that night. She looked different somehow, more settled, less frantic. I talked to Cole. She said once we were sitting on the same bench. I told him everything I needed to say. How angry I was that he left, how much it hurt, how long it took me to feel whole again. He apologized, for what that's worth. And it helped. It really did. I'm glad. But more than that, it made me realize something. What I had with him was real, and it mattered, but it's over. Completely over. What I have with you is different. Better. More solid. She turned to face me. I don't want to lose that because I was an idiot who handled things badly. You should have told me, I said. About all of it. I know. I was scared. Scared you'd think I still had feelings for him. Scared you'd leave before I even had a chance to figure things out. But I should have trusted you. Trusted us. I looked at her, really looked at her. The fractures in my trust were still there, but maybe they could be filled in. Maybe they could even make us stronger in the end. If we do this, I said slowly, if we try again, things have to be different. No more secrets. No more omissions. If you're struggling with something, you tell me. Even if it's hard. I will. I promise. And it's going to take time. For me to trust you fully again. I know. I'll wait as long as it takes. I took her hand. Okay, let's try. She smiled through tears, squeezing my hand back. It's been 4 months since that night at the party. Things aren't perfect. I still have moments where I wonder if she's telling me everything. She still has moments where she overcompensates, trying to prove she's trustworthy. But we're working on it, together, and slowly the fractures are filling in. Cole moved back to Seattle last month for another job opportunity. Natalie told me about it the day she found out. No hesitation. That helped. Lauren threw another party last week. We went together, and this time I actually enjoyed myself. I even danced with Natalie, in front of everyone, with no shadows hanging over us. As we were leaving, Natalie squeezed my hand and said, "Thank you." For what? For giving us another chance. For believing we were worth fighting for. I kissed her forehead. We are. And standing there in the parking lot, her hand in mine, I actually believed it.